All right. Hello, everybody. My name's Dave. Some of you might already know me, but some of you don't. I am the designer for Distilled, the spirited strategy game. And I'm really excited. Today, I'm joined by Richard Woods, who is the developer for the game. Richard, you want to say hi?
Hi everyone.
And really excited today because we're not going to do a full playthrough of the game where Richard and I and others are sitting down, but instead we're going to have a solo game. We're going to have Richard play through a solo version of the game. What's neat about this is it's a layer on top of the actual game that's been designed, and this solo game experience has been designed by David Digby. You might know David from some of his other titles that he's done solo work on, including Tinner's Trail, the newest Dice theme park coming out on Kickstarter, as well as others like Chocolate Factory. So we've been really lucky to be able to have David join us as part of the team to develop the solo mode, and we're going to take a little bit of time today to show you how that works and to play through a game. So I'm going to let Richard drive here. And what you'll see before you right now is this is the Tabletop Simulator mod that's free, and you can play the solo version right now by downloading it online. And that we'll be putting a link to that in the video. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start it. You're going to see on the right-hand side that it says game type, and I'm going to choose solo game. By doing this, you need to be the green player in the green spot, which is what Richard is right now, and then you're just going to hit start game. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to set up the solo game experience for you. Now, you might say, well, Dave, I have no idea how to play the solo game. Well, the good news is there are instructions on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, the corners of the actual table. And if you scroll to the very bottom, as you see on my screen right now, if I go to the very bottom, I'm actually going to see that. Give me a second while I scroll. There's a solo mode outline. You'll want to read through the main instructions, but then you'll also be able to, once you've done that, read through the solo mode as well. That'll also point out certain things you need to do for setup, which we're actually going to do in just a second here. So, Richard, you want to walk us through what you've got there?
Yeah, certainly. So at the start of the game, you'll be dealt two different distiller identities. One of the first things you do in the solo game is choose your identity to play with because that will dictate some of the setup. In solo, you can pick one of the two that's been dealt to you at random from the deck above, but also if you go to the top left of the table, you've got all the other identities up there as well. So if there is a particular identity that you'd like to play with, then feel free to pick any one that you like. But I've been dealt here the English and the French identities to choose from. So I'm going to pick one of them. I'm going to pick the English nun, and I'm going to put her on my distillery player board. And then the scripting will automatically give me the money and the signature ingredient and the signature recipe for my identity. And also in my hand, I've been given the starting yeast and starting water that she gets as well. The other identity I'm not using, I'm just going to put back on the pile at the top or in one of the bottles somewhere out of the way. I say that's really important because when we're setting up the solo game, we're just going to need to remove some of the cards from the goals, which we'll come to next, that don't align with the region. So my identity's region is Europe, and therefore we're just going to quickly remove the goals for the Americas and the Asia and Oceania regions as well, which Dave is going to be showing you now.
So what you'll see is I hit right click and chose search over the deck. And then this pops up, as you can see on my screen, all the cards in this deck. Now, of course, after we do this, we're going to shuffle it up, but we're going to look for anything that has the icon that is the Americas or Asian Oceania, like Richard said. So I've done that for the bees. I'm going to leave this brandy in here, though, because this brandy does have Europe. Then I'm going to go to C, and we've got some there as well. So I'm going to search here and pull those out too. Oops, I'm going to leave that in, this one out, and that should be it, I think. I don't think there's anything you need
Fantastic.
to
Yep.
worry about in the A goals.
Not in the A's, no. So the purpose of doing that is just to make sure that the goals that we're going to set up in a second don't ask you to make spirits that aren't from the region that your distiller identity is from. Doesn't mean you can't make those spirits. They're all included within the recipe list. It just means obviously thematically you are going to be asked to make spirits potentially from your region, which makes a bit more sense. So we'll throw the seagulls out of the way and we'll leave the beagles there for a minute. So within the solo game, there are three different types of solo cards. The A's at the top, the B's in the middle here, and the C's at the bottom. And we're going to set them out in a barrel formation, which is explained for you in the rules. So after we've given them a shuffle, we're going to lay two A cards out at the very top of our barrel. Then in the next row down, we're going to lay 3 C cards, and we'll go through what these different cards mean. Then in the middle row, in the row 3, we're going to lay the B cards, one in each spot there. And then we're going to lay C cards in these bottom 2 rows to make up our barrel for this particular game. What we're then going to do is flip over the cards in row 1. So that's the 2 bottom seagulls. And what we'll see are the seagulls. These are the somewhat easier goals to achieve. They're still obviously going to take some doing, but they will also give us a little reward when we achieve them. What we'll also then do is flip over the B goals in the middle row. These are the slightly harder goals that we've got to achieve, and they're going to actually add to our target score as well. And then finally, we're going to flip over the A goals at the very top of the barrel, and these give us our overarching goal for the game, and we're going to have to pick and try and score the right number of spirit labels to achieve one of those 2 goals. So we're either going to, in this game, have to achieve 6 non-aged spirit labels or 4 aged spirit labels. So quite different strategies there that we can go for one or the other. The way that these goals work is that you've got to achieve 1 goal in each row and build your way up from the bottom to the top of this barrel. You start off at the bottom and you can score either of the 2 seagulls, and when you score a goal, you will place a coin over that goal to show you've scored it. That will then allow you to flip over the next 2 cards in above. So as you can see, the seagulls in row 2 are all currently hidden, so I don't know what those goals are going to be until I've scored one or both of these goals in row 1. So we'll find those out hopefully in the early rounds of the game. That will then allow me, so say I moved up here, to then score one of the B goals above the seagull that I score in row 2, moving up to row 3. And then I'll be able to move up to row 4 and again flip over the hidden seagulls that are just here. And then finally, by the end of the game, hopefully score one of those 2 A goals. In addition to scoring 1 goal in each row, I also need to achieve a target score, which is the sum of whichever A goal I score and whichever B goal I score. So if I scored these 2, I need to score 86 points or higher. You can score multiple goals in a row if you want to, however, you don't have to. The minimum is 1 goal per row, working our way up. And we'll use this barrel marker icon here just to show which row we're on is our active row. You can't go back down the barrel, but you can obviously go up, and that's the goal of the game. So that's hopefully explained the way that that's going to work. The game itself works very similarly to a multiplayer game in terms of we'll go to the market, we'll do our distillation, we'll do our selling of any spirits that we've made or we've aged, we'll age any spirits that need aging, and then we'll do the at the end of round part. The only main difference though is that we're going to use the B cards that we've not, oh, don't do that, that we've not used as our goals, and I'm just going to put them up top above the market here, just so they're next to the market and give them a little bit of shuffle. And we'll come to what they do when we get to that point in the market phase rather than explaining it now. But the whole purpose of that is to kind of simulate a second player competing in the market with you. So I think, Dave, I think we're ready to start in round 1. That's
Yeah,
the game set up now. We have our goals, we have our distiller identity, we have our resources, and we can actually start in round 1 in the market phase.
and we can get rid of the
So
rest of the C and the A goals, so I'm going to set those aside as well.
yeah. So what I will probably do at the start of the game is just have a look at what they, as we've already looked at what the A goals are, I'll also have a look at the B goals and maybe work out if any of those are the ones that I want to try and score. So some good ones here that might correlate with the different A goals. So Cellar Spirit with 4 flavors, and the aged spirit ones are obviously going to go quite well together. Maybe selling a spirit with that's worth 15 might go with a non-age where I can get some good economy going. So it's having a look as well of which B goals and which A goals you're going to try and maybe aim for, but don't be afraid to pivot as well mid-game as things maybe don't quite work out how you want them to. The C goals obviously are my current attention. These are the ones that I'm going to be trying to score in the early rounds of the game. So I need to either earn 8 coin or more in a round. So it doesn't matter how I earn that. But at the end of the round, we'll check for that. Or I can sell a gin that's worth at least 10 spirit points. So they're the 2 things that I'm trying to do at the start of the game. I've got to do at least one of them. So to start the game, I have 3 coins. I already have some water and I already have some yeast. So I'm just going to put them in my washback now, so I know what I'm missing. And I'm probably going to aim for the one that gives me 8 coin or more in that first round. Probably not going to achieve it in round 1, but hopefully maybe in round 2. So I'm going to try and build up towards doing that. So with my 3 coin, I'm just going to probably go to the market and I'm going to buy some rye. And then
Good.
we'll shuffle the market along. And I'm going to pay those coins into this black bin bag here, just out of the way.
So we see the rye
And then
costume 3. We see in the bottom right of that card.
I'm also going to take a mixed grains, and I'm also going to take another mixed grains. So in this game, as you're probably aware, you're allowed to go to the basic market twice per round, per market phase. So my 2 purchases this round have been some mixed grains. I've already got my water, I've already got my yeast. So really, I've just been to get lots and lots of sugars to make something. That's the end of my market phase. I'm not going to buy anything more this particular round. And therefore, what we do now is use these spare B cards to just take some extra cards out of the market before we load the truck. So we're going to give those cards a shuffle. We're going to remove the top card from the deck to reveal the next card down. And then this little grid that hopefully you can see shows which cards are going to be removed. And those 3 rows represent the market rows that Dave is showing you now. So I'm going to remove this tropical warehouse card to the truck. I'm going to remove the sugarcane to the truck and these 2 ex-bourbon barrels to the truck. I'm then going to click load truck, and that is just going to also take these rightmost cards off as well, just as you do in a multiplayer game, just to refresh the market and simulate that second player a little bit. Brilliant. So that's the end of the market phase. I can then go into distillation phase. Now what I'm actually going to do, because I'm aiming to earn 8 coin or more in a round, I'm actually going to save a couple of grain back in order to maybe try and score that in round 2, because I've probably not got enough to do that in 1 round. So I'm going to put 1 alcohol into my washback. So I've got 1 sugar there, keeping 2 sugars in my pantry for use in round 2. I'm then going to do the distillation, which is again exactly the same as in a multiplayer. So we're going to group them all together, give them a good shuffle, and I'm going to remove the head and I'm going to remove the tail. So I've removed an alcohol and my water. So I'm not going to make a lot of money from this one, that's for sure, because all I've got left is some grains and some yeast. The good news is it just means I've made some vodka. So I'm going to claim a vodka label. And I'm going to use a metal barrel, thanks Dave, and my glass bottle from my storeroom. Vodka is going to score me 2 spirit points, so I'm going to move myself up on the track by 2. And I'm also going to get 1 coin from the bottle, 1 coin from the barrel, and 1 coin from the vodka recipe itself. So I'm going to give myself 3 money from these bags at the top there. The barrel and the bottle go back into my storeroom. The cards themselves that have been distilled just go into the bottle at the top of the market, and they'll get put back to where they need to go on the market there. And now I get to claim my bonus, just as we do in the multiplayer game. The only difference between the bonuses in the solo game, though, and the multiplayer game is whenever you take the 4 coin on the left-hand side, you also get to, in addition to taking the money or the spirit points, move 2 cards within the same row within our goals barrel. So I'm not going to do that quite yet, because I might need to do that later on as I reveal some of the goals to maybe maneuver my way up. But it's something obviously to bear in mind as we're working along. But there's lots of other things that I might want to do, and a really good upgrade that is available that I'm probably going to grab in round 1 is this worm tub. So I'm going to get myself a worm tub and put that in my distillery, and then I'm just going to refresh that so there's still 4 upgrades there to choose from. Now this worm tub's going to give me 2 additional alcohol when I distill a spirit.
Which
So
is
that's going to
2
really
money.
help me achieve this goal in
Yeah.
round 2 now of earning 8 coin or more in this particular round. So that's the end of the round. I'm going to move the round marker forward to round 2 to remind myself of what round I'm in, and then I can go straight into round 2 and try and achieve that first C goal. So let's have a look what I've got first of all, and therefore what I need. So I've got an alcohol which can be used as yeast or water. I've got a water which I can put there in the water slot, and I've got those 2 grains that I saved from round 1 that I can put in here. So I've already got quite a decent spirit that I can make there. Obviously, hopefully trying to get those 8 coins along with the extra alcohol I'm going to be adding. But I have also got 3 coins to spend on some things from the market. So I'll have a look what's in the market that I might want to buy. I maybe could get some anise, because if I'm just making vodka, then obviously it doesn't matter whether it's plant, fruits, or grains. But there's actually some mountain spring water there, which I quite like the look of. That's going to give me 2 coins back if I were to get that. So I'm probably actually going to get that and pay 3 coins to take, and then I'm going to refresh there. So that's my 3 coins spent. Lots of plants in this market at the moment. I'm quite happy with the vodka. I'm probably at this point thinking I'm aiming for the 6 non-aged spirit labels, of which vodka's one. Although it's not going to score me very many points, so I do need to up my game at some point. But for now, that's absolutely fine with me. And I'm also probably going to grab myself a couple more mixed grains from the basic market as my 2 basic market purchases. And then what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to throw it all in, because at this point now I want to get as much money as I possibly can. So I've just thrown everything in there. So that's the end of the market phase, because I've spent all my 3 money and been to the basic market twice. So as per last round, we're just going to reveal the top card of the B, or remove the top card of the B goals that were spare to reveal the next card down. And that's going to tell me to discard this market buyer. It's going to tell me to discard this sugarcane. And then also another ex-bourbon barrel and a clay barrel is going to go, and then I'll load the truck up. So that's the market refresh phase completed. So we then go into distill phase, and I've now got myself 4 grains in my washback. I've also got my worm tub. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually add 6 alcohol, 4 for the grains plus 2 for the worm tub. So that's 3,
high octane.
4, 5, 6. So if this does not earn me 8 coin or more, I do not know what will. So I'm now going to distill again. So I'm going to flip them all over and group them all together. I've got 13 cards here, so this is a lot of cards being shuffled. Thank God for TTS. I'm going to reveal the top card. I'm going to reveal the bottom card. Now I revealed the alcohol, but I also pulled this mountain spring water off of the top of the deck. Then the mountain spring water, when it's removed during the distillation, actually gives me an extra water in my pantry that I can use in a future turn. So that's not too bad, although it did remove 2 coin from this stash. So let's see how much it's going to earn me. Again, I've made vodka, so I'll get myself a vodka label, and I'm going to bring out my glass bottle and my metal barrel to distill this vodka in. Because it's non-aged, it's going to be sold straight away. So I think I've done okay for money here, which is good. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 from the vodka recipe itself. So I'm going to help myself to 11 money for that. So it's done its job in terms of making me lots of money. I'm going to move up the spirit track by 3 points this time, because I've got a rye in there, so it's slightly better vodka than in round 1. But obviously I'm still only on 5 points, but at least I've got some money now. The barrel and the bottle are going to go back to my storeroom. All of these ingredients are going to go in the bottle and go back to where they need to go in the market. And then at this point, I get to claim another bonus with this vodka label. So I think I'm going to probably try and move up to making something a little bit different. And maybe I might get myself a free ingredient, and I'm going to grab this palm here. So that's just going to go straight into my pantry for use in the next round. Then at the end of the round, because it's an earn goal, I get to now score that. So I earned 8 coin or more in that round. So I'm going to cover that up with a coin. It immediately gives me 1 spirit point. So I will move myself up on the spirit point track. And now, because I've achieved that, I get to then flip to the next 2 goals above it. I don't flip this one because I've not achieved the gin goal. But now I've got 2 new sea goals that I can try and aim to achieve. So I can either sell a spirit that's worth at least 8 coin. I've just done that, but I need to do another one. Or I can sell a spirit that's worth at least 8 spirit points. So I can't do both of those in the same turn. A sell goal, or each spirit I should say, can only be used to score 1 sell goal. So if I had 2 spirits, maybe 1 aging, I could then sell 1 and sell the other to achieve both in 1 round. But as I'm only going to be making 1 spirit, I can only actually try and achieve one of those 2. So
Richard, I've got 2 questions for you.
Round 3. Yes, Dave.
First one, what would have happened? Let's assume you would have made just as much money that round and you had made a gin. What would have happened in this case then?
Okay, so I would have scored this sell a gin goal when I sold that gin. And then at the end of the round, I would have also scored this goal, because this is an earn goal which is checked at the end of the round. and that would allow me to flip over this one, and it will also give me some extra coin as well. So you can score some goals, or multiple goals in the same round. It's specifically the sell and the distill goals that you can only use one spirit to score once.
Perfect. And then the other question is, uh, just to explain it, you don't have to shoot for these. Technically, you could still. You're still down on this level, so you
My
have a
active
couple
row is still
choices.
row one.
Hmm.
Yes,
Good.
yes, I could hold back if I wanted to and try and get a little bit more money by scoring this gin goal as well.
Yeah, or move on.
But as soon as I move up to scoring any of these three goals, then my barrel will move up and I can't go back again then. So that's a choice that I
Hmm.
need to now make, is whether I hang around in this first row and try and score that gin, or do I now move up and start progressing up towards the tougher B goals, so I can obviously reveal these C goals. Because probably what I don't want to do is be revealing these C goals in round 7 and then finding I can't score any of them because I've not had any time to prepare for them.
Hmm.
So there's you want to move up at the barrel at pace, but also score as many goals as you can, particularly the C ones that
Good.
give you points and money.
And again, to be clear, you don't have to move that barrel marker until you score it. So
Correct.
Richard doesn't have to decide right now. It could be, whenever something is scored.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Great.
Cool. So we're going into round 3. I've grabbed that palm from the premium ingredients row there. So I'm probably going to aim to make some cachaça this round, I think. I've already got a alcohol, which I can use as yeast, and I've actually got 2 waters that I can use in my water. And because I'm aiming to sell a spirit with lots of money, then I'm going to throw them both in because they're both worth money to me. But what I now need to do is buy a recipe, because at the moment all I know is how to make moonshine and vodka. So I'm going to spend 2 coins. I'm going to buy the cachaça recipe at the start of round 3's market phase. So I'm going to just get myself some change there. That costs 2. There's another palm there, and cachaça requires plant sugars, so I'm going to grab that palm, and that is going to cost me 4. So I was hoping for another plant there, but they all came out at the start. So I'm just going to pay
Hmm.
5 and get 1 change. So I'm down to 5 money now. Um, Tempted to get a bottle as well, because that might help to score some points at the end of the game. But I think before I do that, I'm definitely going to get myself a couple more mixed plants from the basic market and throw them in there, a coin each. So I'm going to pay for those. That's my basic market. However, because of my distillery identity, I actually get one of them at a 1 coin discount. So therefore, that only costs me 1 for those 2. And then I've got a little bit of money left. I've got 4 coins left. I'm going to again look at the market. There is a couple of upgrades that I could possibly afford. One of them gives me 1 point for every 2 Europe labels, and one of them gives me 1 point for every specialist upgrade that I have. But this coppersmith actually lets me add extra alcohol, which might be quite handy given there is a B goal for selling a spirit containing at least 6 alcohol. And given I've already got a worm tub, that could be
Yeah,
quite a good combo. So
yeah.
I think I'm going to hire myself a coppersmith with my final 4 money. Okay, so that's the end of my market phase. I've been to the basic market twice and I've spent all my money. Obviously, you don't have to spend all your money. If you want to hold some back over for the next round, that's entirely up to you. So we're going to reveal the back of the next B card, and this is going to tell me to remove the spirit safe, the juniper berries, and then a couple more barrels. And then we're going to load the truck up. So that's that done. And then we go into the distill phase, so round 3. So I've now got 4 sugars again in my washback, so I'm going to add 4 alcohol for those. But then I'm also now going to add 3 more because of my coppersmith and my worm tub.
Hmm.
So again, a very strong spirit that I'm making, and hopefully going to be a cachaça. So I'm going to group them all together, flip them over, and reveal the top and the bottom cards. Oh dear, pulled that mountain spring water
Uh-oh.
out again, and one of my palms. So it's not quite as good as I was hoping for, but at least I do get another water from that mountain spring water for free. So I reveal my spirit stack, and yep, I've got plants in there, so I've made cachaça. So I'll grab myself a cachaça label, and I need a metal barrel, and it needs to be sold immediately because it's non-aged. And I'm going to count up my points and my money. So this one's going to be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, so it's going to be worth 13 coin for that one.
Ooh,
So
lots of money.
very high value spirit. And a few more points in the vodkas, but still not amazing. It's going to be worth 4 points for the cachaça recipe, plus 2 for that palm, so only 6 points, however. So I'm going to move up to 12 on the track there. So now I've sold a spirit, I can then look at these sell goals that are in the goals. I didn't sell a spirit that was worth 8 SP, but I did sell a spirit that's worth at least 8 coins. So I'm going to score that goal and move my barrel up to be that becomes now the active row, and that gives me a couple more spirit points. I'm going to move up to 14 on the track there. Again, my bottle and my barrel go back into my storeroom. I'm going to put all of these cards back into the bottle up here so they can go where they need to go. And then I get to choose what I'm going to use my cachaça label for. Now at this point, I'm probably going to be aiming for one of these two B goals, either selling a spirit with 15 or more, which obviously I was close in that round, or one with 6 or more alcohol. The 6 or more alcohol probably feels more achievable at this stage, given the upgrades I've got. However, that would only flip this C goal. So it might be worth possibly going for this one. But what I might also actually do, thinking about it, I'm going to use the ability to swap 2 goals in a row. So I'm going to get the 4 coin from this particular spirit label bonus. And what I'm going to do, because I think I can score this one easier, I'm actually going to swap these 2 over. And that way it's going to reveal these 2 seagulls for me when I score it, hopefully this round. So I'll flip that card over to remind myself that I've done that now. I can't go back and do that again. But we'll see if that pays off. But it also means I've now got 17 coin to go out and try and hopefully make something worth a lot more points, because I think I'm doing quite well on the goals, but obviously on points wise I've only been making vodkas and the single cachaça so far, so I definitely need to get a move on in that sense. So I'm just going to check out what I've got here. I've still got some more plant sugars there, but only the one. So I think I might try and make some gin. There is some grapes in the market.
And one thing to jump in
And
real quick as a reminder, so Richard, as everybody does, has their authentic ingredient or their signature recipe. So that's something else that he's probably keeping in mind as well, that you don't necessarily have to have the gin recipe, but could still work on that specific one.
absolutely. The downside is though that's going to need some juniper berries,
And
which I
those were
think
lost, right?
are
Yeah.
all in the truck at the
At
moment.
least
So
one
I might
was. Yeah.
yeah, so I might struggle to get some juniper berries this round, but we'll see. So gin needs 1 grain and 2 fruits. So I'm going to start off by buying some fruit. I quite like those grapes. They look very nice. They're expensive. They score a lot of points. So let's pay 6 for those. And I'm going to get myself, I think because gin is European, I'm going to get myself this canister bottle as well, which is going to cost me 2. Oh, make sure I don't pay too much because I'm going to need all this money, I think. I'm going to need to get myself the gin recipe, so I'm going to pay 4 to get that recipe.
So Richard's going to need at least 1 grain
5
and at
coin left.
least 2 fruit if he's going to make it.
I do. What I'm then going to do, I'm going to get 1 mixed fruit. I'm going to use my discounts. That only costs me 1 instead of 2. And then I am going to buy this rice for 2. So I've got the minimum required now, but I'm going to throw some more sugars in there, because every sugar is going to add some extra alcohol. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some mixed grain, because that's free, and I'm going to hope that neither of the 2 fruits get pulled out, otherwise I am making vodka again. So I've still got 2 money left. Just looking if there's anything I'd like to buy there. I'm probably going to save the money, I think. So that will do for now. So that's the end of the market phase for me.
Let me ask you,
I'm going to
Richard,
reveal. Yes.
real quick. So let's say you ended up buying this plastic liter bottle and put the non-aged spirit, whatever it might be, in there, which is a lot more money.
hmm
Would you, if you sold it for at least 15, would you have to claim the goal?
No.
Okay.
So the goals are optional. If you achieve the score or the target, you don't have to score it. So I could avoid that one if I was maybe going for the other one, as I've obviously moved it to try and score those or reveal those seagulls. So if I do achieve a cellar spirit this round that's worth 15 or more, then I wouldn't have to score it.
Great.
But you can if you want to, because you might want to make yourself another path up the barrel.
Great.
Cool. So what I'm then going to do, I'm going to throw everything into my. We'll just do the B cards first of all. So I've already revealed one. So we're just going to remove these 3 cards, and then load the truck. And then I'm going to throw all my sugars in. And at this point, I haven't actually got any yeast. But the good thing is, during the distill phase, or at the start of the distill phase, you're allowed to exchange 1 card from your pantry with, or from your distillery board, I should say, with any card from the basic market of equal or lower value. So I'm actually going to trade this water and get myself a yeast. So now I've got all of the ingredients that are required to distill. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 alcohol for the sugars, plus 3 from my 2 upgrades. So I've got 7 alcohol in there, hoping that 6 of them stay. Obviously hoping also the 2 fruits stay, otherwise I'll be making vodka. So I'm going to mix all those together. Reveal the top card. It's an alcohol. And the bottom card is another
the alcohol
alcohol.
pays off.
Yeah. However, I think I've not achieved the goal therefore, because I think I'm now down to 5 alcohol. So not quite this round. So I've made gin. So I still need my metal barrel, but this time I'm actually going to use this canister bottle that I bought from the market in order to put the gin in. So let's count up how much money. So it should be worth quite a lot of money. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 money. So I get 2 out of that bag and a couple of 5. So again, I've got plenty of money coming in. And I'm going to score. So gin's much more prestigious than vodka. It's going to score me 7 spirit points from the recipe itself, plus 3 from these grapes, 1 for the water, 1 for the rice for 12, and then because it's European spirit, I'm going to get 2 from this canister. So it's actually going to score me 14 points. So much better than the vodkas that I've been making. So I'm going to move all the way up to 28. And then I'm going to get to put this bottle just to the side of my distillery, because that might count towards the set collection at the end of the game. Put the barrel back in my distillery and get rid of the cards to the bottle at the top, and now I get to claim another goal bonus with this gin. So what I'm very tempted to do now is I'm actually going to get my dried juniper berries from the side of my board there with that bonus, and I now have those available to use, and I might have a go at making my London dry gin this round with those berries. Now London dry gin requires 1 grain, 1 fruit, and the juniper berries, so hopefully they will stay in there. So let's go into round 5.
Before you do that, Richard, I wanted to ask, did you want to look at any of the goals?
Great point. So because I've not moved up to this row, I can still score rolls in my active row. And as Dave has clearly noticed that I hadn't, I've actually sold a spirit worth at least 8 spirit points. So I can now claim that goal as well as the one next to it to get an extra 2 coin. So there we go.
Nice.
So let's have another go at scoring that 6 alcohol goal. I have myself 2 alcohol in there already, so I'm off to a great start because I've got 2 alcohol in my yeast and water spots. So this hopefully will be a good one. I'm going to start off. I'm actually going to buy this bottle, even though it's an Asian bottle. I'm probably going to try and get some points from the set collection by using it now. So let's refresh there. Although there is a really fancy European bottle there that might be worth buying as well. So let's pay for the faceted bottle first. 1, 2, 3. Now I need some more fruits and grains, so I'm going to get these fruits for 5. Oh, there's some more grapes. I've got 8 left. I think I might actually get myself these grapes for 6. All the grains coming out now, so it's 5 and 6. So I've got 2 left, and I've still got 2 trips to the co-op, or the basic market, I should say. what I'd like to do is get 1 grain because that's my minimum requirement, but I've still got 2 coins to spend, and there are some 3 cost grains in the premium market. So what I'm actually going to do is my second basic market visit is get a yeast, because that's actually going to let me take 1 more coin from the supply to give me 3 coins, which is perfectly enough to buy this millet here as a second grain for the 3, which is also going to give me an extra point. So I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to refresh that. So I've spent all my money.
Look at all that grain.
I've got some high value grapes, figs, and my juniper berries. So fingers crossed, I'm going to at least make gin, but hopefully make my London dry gin as well, which is going to boost me up that score track. Hopefully, we'll reveal the next B card. So I'm going to get rid of that one, that one, that one, and that one. As you'll see, this time it's taken 2 of the ingredients rather than 2 items. We'll refresh that. We'll put this bottle back into my storage, and then I'm going to throw all of this into my washback to see if I can achieve this. I'm going to probably actually keep the yeast in my pantry alongside those palm for use in a future round. So I've got my alcohol counting as yeast. Now this round I've got 5 sugars, so I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 from the 2 upgrades that I've got.
You are guaranteed, sir, to get this.
I am
this
guaranteed. Yes, been building up
that
for
is
it
a
for
lot
3
of
rounds.
high alcohol.
So it's the juniper berries that I'm most
Yeah.
interested in. So the figs have come out. So I've still got 2 fruits in there. So as long as one of these isn't a fruit, then I've made gin at least, if not my London dry. So let's flip it over,
All
and it's
right.
a grain. So I think I've just about got away with that. Even though I've pulled 2 sugars out, by adding the extra 2 sugars than the minimum required, I've actually made sure that I've been able to make what I needed to make. And as Dave rightly says, it's very, very high alcohol volume as well. So I've got my 1 fruit with the grapes, I've got my juniper berries, and I've got my 1 grain. So I've fulfilled the recipe requirement for my London Dry Gin signature spirit.
Nice.
So I'm going to grab the spirit label, which is the green spirit label here for the signature recipe. And then I'm going to count up the amount of money and points I'm going to score for this. So money first, I've got 1 from the bottle, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 coin.
Nice.
So there's lots and lots of money, which is the benefit of doing a non-age strategy. That you do tend to be a bit more wealthy. And then points wise, so this London Dry Gin is very prestigious, so it's going to score me 12 points on its own, plus 4 for 16, plus 3 for 19, and then the bottle is a Asia bottle, it's a Europe spirit, so it's just going to get 2 for that, so that'll be 21.
Woohoo.
So I'm going to move up the spirit track by 21 points. 10, 21, so I'm on 49. And as Dave rightly says, I've sold a spirit containing at least 6 alcohol. I also sold a spirit that was worth at least 15 coin, but I'm going to choose to score this one because that will then allow me to flip these 2 seagulls in, which are sell a spirit containing no basic sugars, so that's your mixed grain, mixed fruit, mixed plant, or sell a spirit with at least 3 alcohol. I think I might be able to achieve that one somehow. So a bit of luck there
I think so too.
towards the end of the game. And the great thing is it's underneath this A goal that I'm obviously aiming for. So I know now that I'm probably aiming for a target score of 86 or higher. And I'm currently on 49. So a fair way to go yet. And I've got 2 rounds to do it in. So under dry gin can just go back down here. I've made that now. The bottle's going to go over to the side alongside my Europe bottle there. And then all of these ingredients are going to go back off to where they need to go. And then before we start the next round, I am going to just choose one of the spirit label bonuses. I'm very tempted, I must admit, to trade a card with the truck. So that yeast that I held back, I'm now going to trade that. And now I can take any card from the truck from any of these 3 piles that I want to take. But you may not be surprised to learn that I'm probably just going to take these grapes on top because they are a very high value
Mr. Gin.
fruit, and I
notice,
might as well lean straight into this gin, I think.
Yeah. And Richard can trade that yeast because it's different than normal. The yeast says cannot be traded with the basic market. That's what Richard did before. But when you trade with the truck, that's different. So you can trade any card for the truck power there.
Fantastic. So I've got two fruits and I've got one grain. So I've got loads of ingredients ready to make some nice quality gin again, which is the highest scoring non-aged spirit. So I think I might go for that. Um, However, I'm wondering at this stage, if I make a gin, then I'm probably going to score the six non-aged spirit labels that I'm
Mm-hmm.
after. But I'm wondering if maybe now's a good time to make an aged spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what I'm thinking actually is holding back these ingredients that I've got here until the final round. Because I've got 19 coin, but I might be able to set myself up here to make a nice rum because I've got this palm that I've been saving since the early game.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a nice agave out in the market as well as a really nice American standard barrel. So
And
if I can get all of
even a
those
nice
things,
bottle.
and there's a nice bottle potentially to put some rum in as well in the final round. So I think I might actually try and make some rum and see how that goes. Because rum, being an aged spirit, is considerably more prestigious than any of the non-aged spirits, and would get me some extra points and also allow me to use this palm that I've got there. So let's give that a go, and then hopefully still make a gin in that final round. Worst case scenario, I'll be able to make a vodka in the final round to still score the A goal, but obviously the
Mm-hmm.
gin will get me a lot more points than
Mm-hmm.
a vodka would. So let's go to round six. Is that right, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And see how much I can afford with my 19 coin. So I'm definitely going to get that agave for 5. That's a no-brainer because that is an amazingly quality
Yep.
sugar. So I'm going to
That's a
put
good.
that in there for 5. I'm also going to get this wooden barrel, which is going to
Nice.
cost me 5. Let me just, here we go, I'll just get a 5 straight up. And then I'm also going to need a rum recipe.
Yep.
I'm going to put that in there, and that's going to cost me 4.
So very quickly, invest in these high quality ingredients and items are dropping your amount.
Yes, so I've spent quite a lot of money already, and all I've got at the moment is 2 plant sugars to make this rum. I do obviously have the recipe as well now. You're absolutely right, that worm bottle does look very attractive, so I'm definitely going to buy that because that will mean I've got a set of all 3 regions in my bottle collection. So I'm now down to just 3. I'm then going to visit the basic market, and I don't currently have any yeast or water. However, there is some yeast in the premium market that I might be tempted to get. So what I think I might do, I might get some water to fulfill that requirement, and then I'm going to use my identity's power again to get myself some mixed plants for free. And then that leaves this 3 coin that I've got left to buy this yeast from the premium market, which fulfills my yeast requirement, and that will go over there. And then I'm going to store all the grain and grain and fruit that I had from earlier in my pantry. I'm going to throw those 3 plants into my washback, and I've got the bottle and barrel down there. So that's the end of my market phase. So for the last time, we're going to reveal the next card down in these B cards, and we're going to move some of these over here, and we're going to load the truck up.
Good.
So some more plants, but they're not going to be wanted at the moment. So again, it's going to be very high alcohol spirit here because I've got the turbo yeast as well as my upgrades. So I've got 3 sugars. So I'm going to add 3 alcohol to my hopefully rum. I'm going to add 1 more for the turbo yeast, and I'm going to add 3 more for my upgrades. And then I'm going to shuffle all of these cards together. And then fingers crossed, I'm going to leave 2 of the plants in there to make rum. But the worst case scenario, I do have cachaça.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I pull 2 plants out, I'll still have 1 plant left and we'll be able to make cachaça instead. So let's see what happens. So the top card is
Oh, you're good.
water. Bottom card is alcohol. So I'm going to splay these out just to show you what's still in there. I'm going to bring a barrel out as well. So yes, I've managed to make rum with the palm, agave, and a mixed plants. And I'm going to put all of those now to age in my warehouse because they can't be sold the same round that they've been made because it's an aged spirit. I do get to claim myself a rum label though, so I'll get that now just to announce I'm making that. So obviously it's got loads of alcohol in there, so that will allow me to score that seagull when I come to sell that next round. So I'm going to put that face down in my warehouse, I'm going to add one flavour to the top of that stack. I'm going to add the barrel to the top of there, and then finally I'm going to put the rum label on top. Now this barrel would let me spend a coin to get a point, but I don't have any money, so I'm obviously not going to do that. At this stage in the game now, I do have the ability to take a loan or hold a tasting at my distillery. Because I've made an aged spirit, I've not sold anything this round, so I can therefore sell or take a loan of up to 4 spirit points to get up to 4 coin. Now there is a very nice rounded bottle just there that looks quite tempting to get for a nice gin. So I think I might actually take a full loan and go back down to 45 on the spirit point track. So I'm risking it a bit here. I might not score enough, but at least it's going to give me 4 coin. And then I'm going to see what I've got here. So the great thing is, because I held back those ingredients, I've actually got everything I need to make gin there. So anything I get on top of this is going to be a bonus. So this going into final round, round 7, I've got 1 grain and 2 fruits in there. As I said, I took that loan because I want to get that bottle. So I'm going to be making a gin and hopefully putting it in that. So it's going to cost me 3. And then I think I'm going to acquire some mixed fruits. I'm going to use my Distiller Identities power to pay 1 for those. And I'm also going to acquire some mixed grain as well. So just like last time I made gin, I'm putting some extra sugars in there to mitigate that look. So they can all go in my washback. That's the end of my market phase. We will do this just for completeness, although it's not necessarily on that too important on the final round. So we'll reveal the top card and then just discard some and then refresh the truck or reload up the truck. Could be important if there was maybe an item that I wanted to take with one of the spirit labels.
Or the
But
truck.
usually
Or
it's not.
the trucker, for instance.
Or what's in the truck, absolutely, yeah. So it's definitely worth doing. So let's go to that final round distillation. I've got 5 sugars in here now, so I'm going to add 5 alcohol. And 1 more for my coppersmith and 2 more for my worm tub. So I think those upgrades have certainly paid for themselves. And then fingers crossed I can make some gin. So I'm going to shuffle it all together. Flip that over. Oh, there's the fig. So that's lost me 2 points. So if this is a fruit, I've failed to make gin. Let's find out.
Whew.
It's an alcohol. We're okay. So adding that extra fruit has paid for itself. So now we come to the sell phase. I'm just going to bring out the metal barrel to show that I'm using that to make the gin, and I'll claim my gin label now actually as well. I could now sell my rum or the gin in any order that I want to. It doesn't really make a difference for me, I don't think, at this stage, so I'm just going to use this rounded bottle to sell my gin first, and then we'll come back to the rum in a second. So again, I'm going to count up the money. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 money for the gin. So I'm just going to get this in nice big coins here because we're going to get some points for them in a minute. The gin's worth 7 plus 3 for the bottle because it's a Euro spirit. So that's 10. 3 for the grapes and 1 for the millet makes 14 spirit points. So I go up to 59, 55, and then up to 59. So still good number of points to achieve. I'm going to put all of these back in this bottle over here. I'm going to put this bottle down here as part of my set collection. The barrel can go back in my storage. And the gin label I'm going to use here to get 2 points from that bonus. Okay, so it's all on this rum. So we're going to bring the rum out from my warehouse rather than age it for this round, and I'm going to sell it. So I'm hoping that this is going to score me quite a lot with that agave and the palm in there and the nice worm bottle. So just as we did for the non-aged spirits, we're going to count up now the money and the points. So money-wise, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 from that. So annoyingly short by 1 of an extra point. But that's fine. If it's a tie, that means I'll probably win. And then points will be 11 for the rum recipe, plus 1 for the barrel to 12, 2 from the palm for 14, 1 from the yeast for 15, 3 from the agave for 18, and then because it's an American spirit, the worm bottle gives me 2 more. So is that 20? So I'm going to move up down here. I'm going to go to 71, 81. So still not quite where I need to be. I need to be on 86, so a little bit short, but hopefully the end game scoring will allow me to catch up. So I'm going to put all of these ingredients back in this bottle up here, along with the barrel as well. They can all go off. That worm bottle is going to go there with my bottle collection,
Richard, did
and I
you,
get
just to interrupt, did you count this point? Not sure if you did.
no.
No?
No, I
Good.
don't think I did. Well reminded.
Yeah.
Yes, so because I had one flavour in there, that also gives me one aged bonus point as well. So I'll give myself an extra point. Thanks, Dave.
Hmm.
And then with the rum as well, I'm going to claim that spirit label to get 2 more points. So I'm now up to 84, so very close. The great thing is I did sell a spirit there with at least 3 alcohol, but I didn't sell a spirit with no basic sugars, I don't believe. So I get myself 2 more points from that. And that puts me on the magic 86. And then I've moved my active row up to this 4th row. I can then score a row above that, so I can now also score the A goal as well, because I've got 6 non-aged spirit labels and 1 aged. So at the end of the game, we add up our points, very, very similar to a multiplayer game. Any spirits left in a warehouse, we're going to get points for. I've not got those, I just sold my rum. We're going to look at the bottle set collection. So I have 1 from Europe, 1 from Americas, move them out of the way, another from Europe, and 1 from Asia. So I'm going to get 5 points for having 1 from each region, plus an extra 2 points for having 2 European bottles. So I'm going to give myself 7 points for that. So it'll be 93. And then I'm going to get points for my distillery upgrade. So the first one is the coppersmith, gives me 1 point for every 2 Europe labels. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, because the vodka counts as Europe, because that's my Distiller Identities region. So I'm going to get 2 points from the coppersmith, plus 1 point for the worm tub. So that's 3 more points as well there. So that puts me on 96. And then last but not least, I'm going to get myself some points for the money, which is another 2, 4, 5 points. And that's all going to go there. So that's going to put me on a nice 101.
Nice.
And that is the end of the game. So I've achieved 1 goal in every row,
Hmm.
and I have met or exceeded the target of 86 by scoring 101. So in the end, all those extra points I got, obviously from the end game abilities, was what pushed me well over the target score, but certainly felt closer than that going into about round 6. I wasn't sure, but a good game.
Very good. And Richard, what if someone wanted, they play through this game and they played a couple times and they're scoring, scores like that, they're feeling like confident. What's the next step? What else can they do to kind of ratchet up that challenge?
Yep. So there's 2 ways that you can increase the difficulty within the solo mode. This is the normal difficulty level that would encourage everyone to start off with and maybe play a few games at. But as Dave said, if you're finding that you want to increase that difficulty and challenge level, then the first thing that you would do when you're setting up, let me just go and get them from up here, rather than using the C cards in this 4th row, you would actually add B cards in this 4th row. And as before, these B cards are hidden, and you're not going to know what they are until you've achieved the B card underneath them in row 3. The B cards, as you've seen, don't give you a bonus and actually increase the target score. So if in this case I'd sold that run worth 19 SP, which I did, completely not set that up, then my target score would actually be 75 plus 13 plus 11. So obviously they're going to make the game harder by giving you a harder goal to achieve, giving you less bonuses, but also increasing your target score.
Hmm.
That's the game, probably a hard mode that I think most people will enjoy once they're familiar with the game and know how to play it and can do it well. If, however, that's still not enough for you, then what you can also do, as you probably guessed it by now, is replace these seagulls in row 2 with hidden bee goals as well. This does make it extremely hard because, as with the other bee goals, these are going to add to your target score. So you're now going to have a target score probably well in excess of 100, depending which ones you achieve, as well as 3 pretty tough goals that aren't going to give you any bonuses as well. It is certainly winnable, but it is probably the mode that I would lose more often than I win at this mode. So beware of it, but by all means, give it a go.
Yeah, and as a point of reference, not that it would have played out differently, but if Richard had the B goals in the 2nd row from the top, I'm counting a total of 99. and actually you got 2 points from one of these C's, so you would have exactly tied it, I think. So with a tie,
It wasn't for this one, you mean? If that C was back
if that
here,
C's were back and you just did
if it
hard,
was these three,
yep,
yeah,
you would have been at
99
99.
and 99.
99. Yeah.
There you go.
So again, very close. And when you tie, you win too, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. So, yeah. Great. Well, this has been wonderful. This has been really great to watch. And I think you did really well. I really do, in thinking of end game here, I think those two specialists, or the specialist and the equipment upgrades for your distillery, really paid off. Not only did you have goals that had to do with alcohol, but those were generating so much additional revenue for you too. So I think
Yeah.
that was a well played decision there for sure. So
Yeah, when I saw that 6 alcohol B goal, and the worm tub and the coppersmith came up, they were a bit of a no-brainer. The great thing about the upgrades is there is no bad upgrades in there, that they're all going to give you some kind of bonus, whether it's the malting floor that adds a flavour to everything you make, or the column still that really mitigates your look, or things that give you discount off ingredients or bottles or barrels or recipes, whatever it might be. They're all going to add value to your distillery. The choice is yours, so which ones are going to add the most value. And for this game, it was getting those alcohol cards in there to try and score that B goal in particular.
yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for walking us through it and playing through it. And remember, everybody, that this is available on Tabletop Simulator. Once you own Tabletop Simulator, you can get this for free. You can play the solo version for free. The rules are right there as well. And this has all been designed. The solo mode has been designed by David Digby. While I'm the designer of the game, Richard's been the developer in this game. So why he is able to kind of speak so well to some of these things also. So all together here, we're really excited about the solo version and really hope that you'll get a chance to try this out. Since we are coming to Kickstarter on July 6th, it's a great way to test out the game before the launch happens. So thanks again, Richard, for joining me today.
Pleasure, thank you.
All right. See everybody later and hope to see you at the table. Bye-bye.